Did you know that the average YouTube viewer decides in just 5 to 10 seconds whether to stay or leave your video? This means that the ability to communicate with impact will make or break your success. You see, great YouTubers aren't just great editors or entertainers. They are powerful speakers. If you think that you're not getting the engagements that you would like in your videos, it may not just be the algorithms. It could be your delivery.
A foggy morning river scene may be beautiful, but a clear and to-the-point speech is what makes a presentation truly impactful. So let's learn to speak powerfully.
Hello everyone, this is Marie-Josée from Powerful Communication. In this video, I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to speak with confidence on camera. It's a little bit like public speaking. However, I've noticed that when you're speaking to an inanimate object, it can be a little bit more difficult. So if you follow those 5 tips, you'll be able to create great content. The first tip is talking to one person. Speaking one-on-one and not to a whole crowd. This is one of the main mistakes that YouTubers who are beginners make. At the beginning, they think that they need to speak to a whole crowd. However, it is better to speak to one person. Or when you see a good influencer, you will notice that they don't talk to, hey, you guys. They talk to you, one person. That's because they understand the power of personal connection. So here's a trick. When you film your video, think that behind the camera is your best friend. Talk about anything that you want to talk. It could be about something you ate, something that happened during the day, or just an opinion that you feel strongly about. Explain your ideas in a conversational manner. Speaking to one person in particular will create a connection between you and your audience. Tip number 2 is about developing good body gestures and facial expressions. Now, I know in my previous videos, I talk about that very often. However, even in front of a camera, you need to have some body gestures and especially facial expressions. Without this, your message may not be complete and your words may not be enough. I often put emphasis on facial expressions, especially when you're trying to deliver a special message. If you're talking without expressions on your face, your audience may not be able to understand exactly what is the message you're trying to convey. Don't worry, I'm not asking you to make funny faces, but your message, in order to be genuine and natural, your facial expressions need to support your message. You've probably seen some YouTubers who have great contents, but their posture is not very good. They're standing, they don't know where to stand, they don't know what to do with their hands. This YouTuber who's having problems with his or her posture could take some time to practice their postures and facial expressions. All they need is to learn the power of appropriate gestures and the power of smiling. Eye contact is also very important. If they can follow these tips, their channel would just skyrocket. If you're one of those YouTubers, here's what you can do to fix this problem. Again, film yourself and observe, analyze, and see your gestures. Wherever you think you look strange or your voice or your facial expressions are a little bit lacking, you work on those parts and film yourself again as often as you need until you fix the problem. Tip number 3 is to control your voice, your tone, your pace, and energy. Have you ever clicked on a video where the speaker spoke with a very monotone voice? It was flat, there was no pauses, it was the same speed. Did you stay and watch? Probably not. So when I watch YouTubers or specific videos, I will go back to their channels over and over again. Why? Because they're interesting, they're energetic, they have good gestures and facial expressions, and their voices are strong or very dynamic. While there are others that after a few seconds I will just click out. It's not because they're not photogenic. Some of them are pretty good looking. However, they have a very flat voice, and It took me a little while to realize why didn't I come back to those videos. It's because of their tone of voice. If they could just work on their voice and their tone and the speed and the pace and the strength of their voice when necessary, that would change the whole atmosphere of the video. So remember that your voice is a powerful tool. Great YouTubers understand that. They also use pauses to emphasize some words or to give strength to expressions or to a part of the message that they want their audience to really get. Here's a fun exercise that you could try and see if it helps. Again, it involves recording yourself with your smartphone. But what you do is you take a text and the first time you record, you read the text. You don't need to memorize it, just read it. No more than a minute, and read it with a monotone voice. After that, read the same text again, this time over-exaggerate everything. Speak loudly and see how it sounds. Third and last time, repeat the same text, but this time be natural, speak with warmth and energy. After viewing those 3 short videos, see which one do you prefer. Tip number 4 is to plan, but don't over-script your video. One reason some YouTubers sound robotic or they're monotonous is because they're reading their script. However, being able to read a text without showing that you're reading it takes great skills, and it's a lot of practice. So if you're not at that point yet, use bullet points. Don't read whole sentences. Just try and ad-lib everything, paraphrase. If you know your topic well enough, you won't need to read a text anyways. Explain your ideas, again, always thinking that you're talking to a good friend. In order to do that, you can use sticky notes, use your computer, or if you want, you can use a teleprompter. Some of those apps are free and you can use them easily. The key word here is practice. Remember, practice makes perfect. Point number 5 is practice, 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 and then some more practice. There's no way around it. Public speaking is like a muscle. You need to train it. And here's the best part. You don't need to practice only when filming. You can do this off camera. But the idea of filming yourself is when you see yourself, you see where you need improvement. That's very helpful. So what you can do is just make a 1-minute video. More than that, you won't have time or you won't feel like correcting yourself over and over. If, for example, you make a 1-minute video, you watch yourself and you see where you're having difficulty, where you need to practice, you can do that off camera and then you practice again in front of a camera for another minute. If you film yourself for 15 minutes, it'll take time just to speak, then to look at yourself again, to practice, and then film yourself again. You'll probably want to do this once or twice, no more. But if you film for only 1 minute, you can do that 15 times in the same amount of time. And you know what? Even the best YouTubers cringed at one point when they first started. So we all have to start at the beginning and climb our way to becoming a great YouTuber. But it is possible if you do the work. Look, being on camera is not about being perfect. It's about being real, engaging, and confident. Start small. Choose one of those tips that I just told you about and practice next week. Then the next week, choose another tip. Just go at your own rhythm. You don't need to eat the whole cake. Otherwise, you're going to have a bad indigestion. So go slowly, go at your own rhythm, and see where that leads you. The trick is to keep doing it. And that's the difference between a good YouTuber and a great YouTuber. Great YouTuber never stops. So which one are you? I'm pretty sure you're the latter. So if you like this video, I hope you'll consider giving it a like, share it with your friends and colleagues, and also please subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment down below and tell me in my next video what you'd like me to talk about. And finally, if you want to tackle some fears that you've been feeling before giving a speech, down below there's a list of 10 videos on 10 different fears that you can listen, and I've give some tips and even some games. You can click on one or all of them and see how they can help you. Until then, please check those videos about mental health and public speaking. I'll see you in my next video.